Good morning students. So in the last video we have seen the chapter 1. In the chapter 1 we have revised from lesson 1, level 1 to level 6. So what you have all learned up to standard 6, that has been revised in the first chapter. So in chapter 2 we are going into the standard 7. So the heading of the chapter is Inside Computers. So what you are all having inside a computer we are going to learn in this chapter. So we are going to learn both the hardware and the software. So first we will see how the system is seen to you and what are all the inside the CPU. Okay. So computers are generally made up of many components. So each component have each specific function. Okay. So computers have many components and each component have their specific function. And when we operate a computer, all these components work together. Okay. So when you are seeing a computer in front of it, what are all the components or what are all the parts you will be seeing? So consider this is a system. So you will be having a keyboard. Okay. So this will be a keyboard and this one is the monitor. And you will be having a mouse. Okay, and then you will be having a CPU, right? Okay, inside this what are all will you be having? It is not seen to you. So some of the components are viewed from the outside and some of the components are inside the system. Okay, so within the CPU have you noted any components? So what are all in this? It will be, first there will be a motherboard. Okay. Motherboard, there will be a power supply, hard disk, and you might have seen many ports. Okay. So inside the CPU you are having motherboard, power supply, hard disk and some ports. Okay. So ports means what? When you press a pen drive, it is pressed inside the port. Okay. If you want to print anything, the printer wire must be connected to a particular port. Okay. So you know about the port. So hard disk is the one which stores the data and information what you are doing inside. Okay. And the power supply you know, so when the current you are switching on the on off button. Okay, the motherboard. So it is the main part of the CPU. In motherboard you will be having one BIOS supply, so in motherboard you will be having one BIOS supply, processor and main memory. Okay. So in motherboard you will be having a BIOS supply, a processor and a main memory. So these are all the parts or the components of a system. So monitor, keyboard, mouse is known to you. You know the CPU from outside, but inner you are having a hard disk, power supply, motherboard and ports. In motherboard there will be a BIOS supply, a processor and a main memory. Okay. Up to this we have known. Next we are going to see, so what do you mean by a CPU? So what is the full form of a CPU? What is the full form of the CPU? Central Processing Unit. Okay, so this is the brain of the computer. It is also called the brain of the computer. Okay, CPU, Central Processing Unit, and next it is known as the brain of the computer. Okay, we call it is also a processor. It is also called as a processor. Okay, so there may be one or two or many types of processors in your system. Okay, so that the work you are giving can be divided according to the processor speed. Okay, processor speed is measured in, can you know? Do you know that processor speed is measured in what unit? Is measured in hertz. Hertz. Okay. So processor speed is measured in what unit? Hertz. Okay, as per the processor speed is high, the data you are getting can be split it very quickly. Okay, the informations can be or the instructions can be done very easily and very fast. Okay, so processor speed is measured in hertz. So it is measured in megahertz or gigahertz. Okay, megahertz or gigahertz. And next we are going to see the next one is the RAM. So next heading RAM, that is random access memory. Okay, so what do you mean by RAM? The full form of RAM is random access memory. Okay, so it is the primary memory. So in the computer, RAM is the primary memory. Okay, when we are saying what are all the commands we are giving, it is saved in the random access memory, but when the power supply gets switched off, it will be erased. Until if you are doing anything, and it must be saved to the hard disk. If you are doing any commands or if you are doing any work, until it is saved to the hard disk, it will not be available in the RAM when the power gets off. Okay, if the power supply gets off, in the random access memory there will be no data. Okay, it will be get erased. But if it is saved in the hard disk, it will be there. So this one is the random access memory, and this it is measured in bits. What do you mean by bit? So bit is the unit of measuring the memory. Okay, so 1 bit is 0 or 1. It has either the value 0 or the value 1. Okay, so next comes 1 byte. So how many bits constitute 1 byte? 8 bits. So 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. So but we are measuring what is the capacity of a pen drive. If someone asks you what you will be saving, 4 GB, 8 GB, 64 GB, you will be saying what is that GB measures? GB is gigabyte. So in the same way, this is 1 byte. So 1024 bytes is equal to 1 kilobyte. Okay. Similarly, 1024 kilobytes is equal to 1 megabyte, and 1024 megabyte is equal to 1 gigabyte. Likewise, it will be going terabyte, and there are many types of bytes. Okay, terabyte, herabyte, hexabyte, like that. So up to this, it's given in your book. So 1 bit means zeros are 1. So 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 byte. 1024 kilobyte is equal to 1 megabyte, and 1024 megabyte is equal to 1 gigabyte. What is this 1024 values? It's nothing but 2 power 10. Okay, and this is 2 power 20, and this is 2 power 30. Okay, like that it will be going. 2 power 40 means 1024 gigabyte, that is 1 terabyte. Okay, so these are all the random access memory bit values. Okay, so what do you mean by gigabyte? You must have known today. And next one, do you know about Windows? Yes, in Windows, that is the OS. So you might have known about Windows, but there is another OS named Ubuntu. So in this, the memory capacity is measured in, here it is called as gigabytes, and here it is called as gigabytes. So this is equal to 1.074. There it is 1024, no? Here it is 1074 bytes. Okay, 1074 megabyte. So in Windows, these are all the units we are having, but in the Ubuntu software, we call it gigabytes as digibytes, and it is equal to 1074. Okay, it is nearly equal to this 1024, that is 1074. Okay, so up to that we have learned today. So what do you know? So what are all the components used in the computer, inside the computer and in the outside the computer? Okay, outside the computer you know keyboard, mouse, CPU, but inside the CPU what are all you are having? Motherboard, then BIOS, and then processor, and then power supply, ports you have learnt. Okay, and then you have learnt what is CPU. So it is the brain of the computer. It is known as central processing unit. Okay, it is measured in hertz, megahertz or gigahertz. And next we have studied about random access memory, and the memory unit it is measured in bits. So what do you mean by kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte? And in Ubuntu OS we will be measuring it as, we will be saying it as gigabytes, which is equal to 1074 bytes. Okay students, thank you.